Good morning. This is Natalie with Imago Day Yoga, coming to you with a live yoga class. But today, normally I do try to do like an all levels yoga flow, but today I'm going to focus on beginners specifically, and I'm going to take it real slow. We're going to start to build up on Sun A specifically. We're going to work on our Warrior Two. We're going to work on forward folds, things like that. And I'm planning on doing this for the entire month of January. And if y'all like it, then we'll stick with keeping it beginner. And we're also making it shorter. It's only a 30-minute class. So you can get in there, really focus hard on the poses, building your foundation so you can get into the regular yoga flows with ease. Maybe this new year, you getting into yoga for the first time. Come on in. It's time to get started. And real quick note, I couldn't get my camera to work, so I'm kicking it old school with my webcam, but I guess the video quality is fine. So we're just going to work with that. All right, go ahead and find your way to your mat. And today we're going to start a little bit different than what I've done in the past. Make sure this is, okay. We're going to start standing for our yoga flow. So find a standing pose, press down firmly into the feet. This is the base of your mountain pose. You always want to build your yoga poses from the bottom. So start to press down into your feet, finding all four corners of your feet consciously. And then from there, then you start to lift up. So lift up through the thighs, pull in that stomach, lifting the chest, roll those shoulder blades down and back. You don't want to be hunching your shoulders. Try to relax the shoulders down and back while the rest of your body is lifting up. Crown of the head, reaching for the ceiling. Hands can be just right down by your side. This is mountain pose, very active. You can actually get sore abs from this by sucking in, pulling in, lifting up, and then breathe into the chest. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Big inhale. Exhale, push the air out. Do that again. Feel the air. Push it into your chest, and then exhale it out. The biggest thing with yoga is matching breath and movement. So another big inhale, lift. Exhale, press. Next inhale, we'll go ahead and get a big stretch. So bring the arms up overhead, reaching up tall. Push those hands together, or at least reach up. And you're going to bring them down towards heart center. Take another big inhale into the heart. Exhale, release. All right, the next thing we're going to do is the forward fold, which might sound real easy, but this is not a toe touch. This is a forward fold in yoga. So first we'll go ahead and get another big stretch. So inhale, reach it up. And exhale, you're going to bend the body forward. And as you do, also bend your knees. Now, if you're really flexible, you won't have to do this, but the goal is to actually connect stomach to thighs. So as you're bending forward, bend the knees. And you might have a deep bend. That's okay. Find where it is. Keep trying to lift the hips up. Don't just start to fall back like you're, skiing or something. Keep the hips lifted. And then you want to check in on the neck. A lot of people want to look up when they're in their forward fold, but you actually want to release the neck. Try to get the crown of the head pointed toward the ground. Eyes are at my knees right now. My hands are reaching down. And it's okay if you're way up here. That's okay. Respect your body. And then if you start to feel dizzy from the blood flow, you're not used to it, come up with a half lift very slowly. This equalizes the blood pressure. So whenever I teach yoga flow, we always come into this half lift. For the half lift, you actually kind of want to pretend you're sticking your booty out, maybe arch the back just a little bit. This helps actually give you a better flat back because a lot of people, it's easy to do this, but you don't want to just hang there. You actually want to stay active. So you push the booty back, you get a little bit of an arch, or at least it feels like it. And you're lifting your chest just a smidge. Crown of the head, though, is just stretching out forward. Eyes are kind of down towards the mat. This is your half lift. This will equalize the blood pressure, keep you from getting dizzy or too red-faced. And then you'll exhale it back down when you're ready. Coming back down in that forward fold briefly before inhaling to lift it back up into that mountain pose that we just practiced. Again, pressing down firmly into your feet, lifting up through the body. Feel that lift. Practice that. First, finding all four corners of the ground with the feet, the toes, the heels, lifting up through your thighs, pushing the pelvis in maybe a little bit. It's easy to kind of get that sway back. Push the pelvis in a little bit, lift up through the stomach, the chest, the rib cage, shoulders are rolled down and back. Neck is loose. Take a big inhale into that heart. Push the chest out with your breath. Big inhale. Exhale, push the air out. Do that again. Big inhale. Exhale, push the air out. Then we're going to get that stretch, inhaling to lift the arms up. And try to touch the palms overhead if you can. And then bring them down to heart center. All right, we're going to do that all again. So inhale, arms back up. Exhale, fold. Remembering to bend those knees as you go down. We'll just stay here for a breath. So check in on the neck. Make sure it's nice and loose, looking back towards your knees. Knees are good and bent so you have that stomach to thigh connection. And then you inhale it up. Get that half lift, pushing the booty out. Lifting the chest a little bit. Neck staying neutral though, looking down at the mat. And then you'll release the breath, coming back down to a fold. And then inhale it all the way up, getting that big stretch. Reach it up. Touch the palms overhead. Hands down to heart center as you exhale. Again, yoga is all about matching breath and movement. So even if you are advanced, this is actually really good practice. It doesn't matter how advanced you get. This is a flow that you will always want to practice and do. Inhale, take the arms up. We're going to do it one more time, a little bit faster. Exhale, forward fold. And then as you start to inhale, you're going to lift the body up. Remember to push the booty out. Lift the chest up. Then exhale it back down. Then inhale, reach it up. And you can go real slow. Your blood pressure may not be used to it. So you want to be respectful of how your body is. Exhale the hands back down. Awesome. Go ahead and take a big breath into that heart. Exhale, release. All right, we're going to move on to the next part. Go ahead and inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold back down, remembering to bend the knees, but this time you're going to plant the hands on the mat. We're going to come into a plank, and you can do a modified plank, so don't worry. You just step the feet back, straight arms stay. And this is what you would want, but if you want to come down to your knees, start there. Start something simple because the form is the most important. So whether you're on your knees or straight on a full arm plank, this is another important part. In fact, if you're not really great at plank, go ahead and come down to your knees. I'll do my knees too. Point your middle fingers toward the top of the mat. So don't have them out into the sides. Don't have them caving in. Make sure the middle fingers are pointed toward the front of the mat. And then check the eye of the elbow. So sometimes they're rotated out so that when we push down, the elbows go out. But actually what we want to do is rotate them so when we push down, the elbows stay in by the rib cage. See that? Keep the elbows in at the rib cage. So when we chaturanga is actually just halfway down. But if you come down to the mat, that's totally fine. You can respect the body, respect where you're at. And then the next part is to come up into a upward facing dog. Upward facing dog, the hands, well, normally you're like this, and you just push up on your toes. But if you're down here, you might want to put the hands out a little bit so that you're not staying right here. You don't have a lot of leverage. Put your hands out a little bit and push back and get a back bend. Be careful with that back bend. Only go as far as it feels good to you, and then you'll lower down. The next part would be to come into downward facing dog. But we're not going to do that just yet. For now, let's give ourselves a break and come in to a child's pose. This is always a good pose to retreat to. If body's not feeling quite right, you need to reset maybe. This is one of those that's great for that. So big toes together, knees are wide. And depending on how your body is, how flexible, how you are up in the front will depend on where you're at in this. So if you're up kind of high, that's okay. Like say your hips are up here, that's still fine. You just want to keep in mind that you're trying to slowly push the hips back until they're resting on your heels. Knees are wide to give your body room to sink down. If this doesn't work for you, there is another pose you can do, but let's try to practice our child's pose for now. Relaxing into the ground, you can relax the arms as well. And keep breathing. I'm going to grab my phone because I forgot to keep tabs on the time for us. So stay low in that child's pose, feeling your breath as you breathe. So we're going to practice a little bit of breath while we're here also. Turning to my child's pose, you're going to take deep breaths down the spine. So we want to envision the air going low, trying to push the stomach out. So we've been focusing on breathing into the heart space. Now we want to bring all the way down into the stomach. So staying low in your child's pose, take a deep and exhale it out. Do that again. Try to feel that stomach and lower back expand. Deep, deep breath. And release. One more deep breath. Take it all the way down to the stomach. Feel the lower back expand. And then exhale, push the air out. Awesome. Inhale yourself up slowly. You're going to come into a tabletop pose and then slowly work yourself back up to standing. We're taking it slow. We're taking it easy. Find your way into a forward fold. So from wherever you're at, find your way down back here. Crown of the head, reaching for the ground. Knees bent as much as you need to. Releasing that neck. No pressure in the neck. Maybe shake it no. And then inhale it up slowly. Pushing that booty out, lifting that chest. Exhale, release it back down. Then inhale, lift it up. Big stretch, palms together, down to heart center. Be pressing down firmly in that mat, lifting up through the whole body as you inhale. Exhale, push it out. Then we're going to do all of that again. We're going to go through that beginning flow, inhaling to take the arms all the way up, getting a stretch. And then exhale, folding forward, planting those hands and finding your plank. So again, if you want to be down on your knees, that is totally fine. But check in on the posture. We're going to be here, so check in on your posture. We're going to hold plank. Middle finger still pointed to the front of the mat. And then check in on the elbows. When you bend them, where do they go? Make sure you're not moving your hands to move your elbows. Your elbows will rotate on their own. So rotate them so that you can bend them. And then we're going to bend all the way down. You can go ahead and come all the way down to the mat, unless you're strong enough for that halfway chaturanga. And then push yourself up into an upward facing dog. Remember to take the hands out just a smidge and only go back as far as it feels good on the back. So if you're right here, that's fine. If it's a little higher, that's fine. Find where it feels good on the back. And then let it down. And then we're going to go back into a child's pose. We'll just be here for a moment. We will get to the down dog. Don't worry. I just want to make sure that this makes sense to you before we get to the final part of a basic Sun A. Well, close to the final part of a basic Sun A. You will know most of the components by the end of today. So take another deep breath. Feel the lower back expand. Exhale it out. Check in. Make sure you have enough space. Knees are nice and wide. Take another breath. And release. Then very slowly start to inhale up to all fours. Take your time. Don't get dizzy. And you're going to come in to a staying down in forward fold. Those feet are planted firmly on the ground, knees bent, neck release, looking down at your knees, arms down by the sides, maybe touching the mat, maybe not, maybe you're up here. Just make sure you have enough bend in the knees. Then inhale it up halfway. Pushing that booty out, lifting that chest. Exhale it down. Inhale, lift it up. Big stretch. Reach it up tall, palms together down to heart center. We're going to take a couple of breaths in our mountain, pushing firmly down into the earth. Press firmly, lift up, inhale. Shoulders are relaxed, exhale it out. One more big breath. And release. Then inhale, take the arms back up, reach it up. Exhale, fold. We're planting the hands again, go a little bit faster. Step it back to your plank. We won't hold it this time. We'll immediately chaturanga it down wherever you're going, if it's halfway or all the way to the mat, and then push up for that upward facing dog. And now we're going to push back for a downward facing dog. So to do that, I'm coming down to my knees. You're going to make sure your toes are planted on the mat. You feel the mat underneath you. And then you're going to lift up through the hips. So push the booty up and back. This is where the energy is flowing. I want to emphasize that. Booty goes up and it pushes you back. Now, a lot of people have super straight legs when they come into down dog. If you could actually bend your knees, this is a better way to start because you're protecting your hamstrings and you're giving yourself the opportunity to lift a little bit better through the hips. This is very important because it helps take some of the pressure off the hands. Come back down to your knees if you came up. I'm going to go over something else now about the hands. Hands, you want to make sure they're nice, spread wide. Fingers are spread completely wide and you're pressing firmly down into the palm. and gripping with the hands to help give you some more base so that all the pressure's not right here pushing on this little joint in the wrist. You want to spread the weight out throughout the entire hand and fingers. See that? So press firmly, maybe try to like grab the mat a little bit, making sure you get a lot of strength there. And then we're gonna do that again. So push those toes out and then lift up through the hips, pushing yourself back. Maybe get a bend in the knees if you can. And take a breath, big inhale. Now something else about down dog, your chest is reaching for your thighs. You may not be able to actually move it right now, but this is your first down dog or 100th down dog. Sometimes you can't quite get things to move, especially if your shoulders are tight. That's okay. Just be reaching the chest, at least mentally knowing that that's where it's supposed to go, toward your thighs. And now neck is loose again. You always want to be careful with the neck, so don't have it straining up here. Make sure you're looking back towards your knees, towards your thighs, feeling that lift up and back. All right, let's go ahead and come down to our knees. I know down dog can be really challenging if you are brand new. So take a break. We'll come down to child's pose. We'll take a couple breaths. Again, big toes together, knees are wide, hips try to sink down to the heels as close as they can, and then body sinks down. Relax, take a deep breath. Do that again, deep breath all the way down the spine. One more deep breath. All right, we're gonna start to come up. Coming to all fours and then gradually placing our feet on the mat and bringing yourself into a forward fold. So standing up on the legs, body staying low, neck looking back towards the knees. Knees really bent to wherever you need them in that bend. And then inhale it up halfway. Pushing that booty out, lifting that chest, exhale it down. Inhale, lift up. Reach it up, get a big stretch. Palms together and down to heart center. Press down firmly into that mat. Lift up through the thighs, the stomach, the rib cage. Shoulders are relaxing down and back. Neck is loose. Big inhale into the heart. Exhale, release it out. Inhale, lift those arms. Big stretch. And then exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping it back into your plank. Getting sweaty yet? Lower down, chaturanga. Then inhale it up, push it up into your upward facing dog. Be gentle on that back. And then push it back to your downward facing dog. So coming back onto those toes, planting them down, and then pushing the hips up and back, lifting back, knees bending, fingers spread wide, pressing firmly down into your yoga mat. Chest trying its best to reach towards your thighs, neck definitely loose. Shake that head, nod it, no tension. And it's okay if you're up high on your heels. Again, you want to try to protect the hamstrings. All stretches are actually supposed to be gentle. You overstretch, you actually damage your body. Keep breathing. All right, this time from your down dog, you're going to try to walk the feet forward into a forward fold. So start to walk it forward slowly. Bring the feet up toward the hands. And staying low. Neck is loose, looking back towards your knees. Knees are bent. Then inhale it up for a half lift. Exhale it down. Inhale, reach it up. Get that stretch. Palms together and down to heart center. All right, that is basically most vinyasa flow Sunday variation. You got most of that. So if you ever take a yoga class, you will probably go through some version of that. Let's go ahead and practice it all again, maybe a little bit smoother this time. We'll take a few breaths in down dog. A lot of practices will actually have you hold down dog for maybe 5 breaths, more or less, depending on what the instructor is wanting to do. So go ahead, we're gonna do all that again. So inhale, lift those arms up. Exhale, fold it down. Plant the hands, step into your chaturanga. Lower it down. Then push it up, upward facing. Exhale it back, planting those toes down, pushing the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Neck loose, looking back toward the knees. Make sure you're breathing. Maybe bend the knees a little bit. Try to push it more up and back. Trying to get the weight more on toward the feet and less on the hands. Speaking of hands, they're spread nice and wide, pressing firmly down into the mat. Big breath, big inhale and exhale. We'll take 2 more. Big inhale. Exhale, release. 1 more time. Big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Then inhale 1 more time. And as you exhale, this is when you're going to start to walk towards your hands. Stepping carefully, bringing those feet up towards the hands. Then inhale it up for a half lift. Exhale it back down. Then inhale, reach it up. All the way. Bringing the hands up, big stretch, palms together, down to heart center. And we'll take a few breaths in our mountain, planting our feet firmly, lifting up through the whole body, big inhale into the heart. Exhale, release. Big inhale again. And release it out. Okay, we're actually going to do it 1 more time, the whole flow, going a little bit faster, still taking several breaths in our down dog, and then we're going to go to the floor after that. So be excited. The floor part is always the best. Big inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, fold it down. Plant those hands, step it back to your plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale for an upward facing dog, pushing yourself up. Plant those feet down and push the hips up and back, downward facing. Lift those hips up and back. Keep the knees bent if you can. Being careful on the hamstrings, finding the lift. Fingers spread wide, neck loose. Looking back towards the knees. We'll take about 3 big inhales. Big inhale. Release. 2 more. Big inhale. Let it go. Last one. Big, big breath. Exhale. The next inhale, you're going to start to bend the knees and look forward and then walk forward for your forward fold. Getting the feet up there by the hands. Then inhale it up halfway. Exhale it down. Inhale, lift it up. Get your stretch. Palms together down to heart center. We'll take 2 breaths. Planting our feet firmly. Big inhale into the heart, lifting the whole body up. Exhale it out. 1 more time. Big inhale. And release. All right. Start to sink down towards the ground. Coming all the way down to the ground and bring the soles of the feet together. I'm going to wind you down for a very brief Shavasana. Shavasana is one of the most important poses you will ever do in yoga. If you don't know what that is, you're going to love it. You'll love it more if you go through a whole yoga practice because it helps slow the mind down. What you do in Shavasana is actually you resting. You're resting and you're meditating and you're letting your body appreciate all of the work that you did. You let your breath calm down. You let your mind go at ease. Maybe if thoughts are coming through, you excuse them, you acknowledge them, you let them go, and you focus on maybe joy or peace or whatever you decide. Sometimes there's nice calming music and you can just flow with that. So you can have some really great experiences in Shavasana. But before we do that, we'll do a few more stretches. So right now I'm doing butterfly. The soles of my feet are together, knees are wide. Usually what I like to do is take a big inhale. And then as I exhale, I forward fold, coming down towards my feet just a little bit, just wherever the stretch feels good. And then I take several breaths. Take a few more breaths in the butterfly. Go ahead and take one more big breath. And then you'll inhale the body up. Go ahead and bring the knees together and you'll stick them out in front of you. And then usually what I need to do at least is adjust so that I'm actually on the top of my sits bones and not leaning back. That makes it easier to forward fold here. Now again, you want to be gentle on this hamstring. So if this is already intense, you might want to go ahead and start bending the knees. You'll inhale, reach it up. And then exhale, fold it forward. Only going as far as it feels good. Hands fall wherever they may. I'm going to be extra gentle on my hamstrings. Mine are actually always tight, so even if I can get a little more bendy, I try to be careful. And breathe into the stretch. It helps actually to visualize your air going to where the stretch is. That might sound silly, but if you visualize it, it actually helps your mind to relax that muscle. It really works. So just pretend the air is going right to the hamstrings and release. Do that again and visualizing the air going to the hamstrings. And let it go. You can go ahead and inhale yourself up. And then we're going to lean back. We're going to challenge our abs real quick for this. If it's okay, if it bothers your lower back, you want to be conscientious of that. If anything doesn't feel right, you can adjust. So if you can, though, reach out in front of you and slowly start to lean back. If this doesn't feel good, just kind of roll over on your side. We're going to our back. That's the goal here. So my hands are stretched out. I'm leaning back. I'm going to activate my core a little bit as I lay down on my mat. Take your time. Lay it down. Once you get there, get full body stretch, kind of like what we do in our mountains, reaching up, pushing up through the feet, pushing up with the hands, everything stretches. And then relax it down, hands coming by your side. So much time to go. Not used to only teaching 30 minutes, so I'm trying to keep us on track here. So go ahead and bend those knees into chest real quick. We're going to do one quick fold, bringing the knees up. Try to hug them in. Kind of checking in on the spine, making sure it feels okay. And then go ahead and stick the feet back out. This is where we're going to practice our really quick little Shavasana. So once you get here, try to relax everything. That big stretch helps if you want to do it again. Kind of tense everything back up and then release it all again. And then you're going to start checking in on your body. Usually we start up at the crown of the head and the brows, so make sure the brow is unfurrowed, and then check in on the jaw. The jaw is unclenched and relaxed. Your shoulders are leaning back and down in towards the mat. Maybe take another deep breath, trying to let go of any remaining tension. Arms are feeling heavy by your sides. The palms can be facing up or down. It's your preference, whatever feels good. Traditionally, they are up and relaxed, but you can also have them down. Or alternatively, you can have one on your stomach and one on your chest. This is also a healthy option for grounding. So whatever you need, find where you want your hands and then let them get heavy. Focus on them grounding down into the earth. And then next is the legs. They should be, there should be no tension. They should be relaxed. The feet falling open gently at the sides, not straight up, but towards, like just falling out gently towards the sides. If this is rough on your back, it's okay to totally bend your knees and find where it feels better on your spine. Traditionally, it is completely laid out like this. Hopefully, as your back gets healthier, you can make those adjustments to where you can lay out like this, but always your body is important. Focus on what feels right for your body, your yoga. And then we're going to take a few breaths, gently relaxing ourselves into the mat, feeling nice and heavy. Being careful of what thoughts come in, acknowledging them as they pass, but letting them go. Feeling thankful for the time we've given for our bodies, for what we've been able to learn today. Letting yourself be silent for a moment. And we'll call us up here in just a moment, so just relax. Go ahead and take a deep inhale. Bring the air back in, deep and purposeful, and then let it go. One more like that. Deep breath, big inhale. Release it out. Start by bringing small movements to fingers and toes, maybe circling wrists and ankles, before coming into that full body stretch again, waking everything up. If this was a good long Shavasana, you'd really want this stretch. So go ahead and practice that big stretch and then let it go, relaxing back down. Go ahead and start to bend the knees in towards the chest. Bring them all the way up into the chest. And then you're going to roll over to one side in the fetal position. So just roll the knees over and pause. Take a breath. And then go ahead and push yourself up into a seated position. So once you've found your seat, shut down the eyes for a second. We'll just take a big breath or two. Big inhale. Release. One more time, big inhale. Let it go. The next inhale, you'll bring the arms up, trying to touch those palms overhead, and then bring them down to heart center. And then to symbolize the end of the class, I wish you namaste. And for those who don't know, namaste is like a greeting. To me, it was explained like the light in me acknowledges and salutes the light in you. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of different translations, but that is how I use it. It's just a form of respect to use in your yoga practice. So there you go. All right, so that was a basic yoga flow. There is a lot more elements that I hope to add in for you as we go. We'll speed up the beginning part. So if you want to practice this again between now and next week, go ahead and do that, just so that you're ready to go and learn something new the next time. I really appreciate you joining in. Please make sure you hit the like button to let me know that you actually enjoyed this. Also, comments are hugely appreciated. And of course, also subscribe if you haven't already and hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going on again. I do want to add a meditation class. It'll be an intro to meditation. I was going to start it this week, but I realized I need to, or at least I desire to have a little bit more buildup for it so that people who are looking for this class know that it's going to be available. And I just haven't had the time to do that yet. So I'll be doing that. It'll be very easy classes. They'll be short and with actual like stuff that you can do to help you like get into meditation mode and enjoy it. All right. Again, thank you so much for showing up and practicing for yourself today. I hope to see you all next week. All right, and bye for now.